Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about astrology and the murder of Lil Mario. Lil Mario, as many of you may know, is a renowned, prolific rapper. It's a shame we're hearing about, seems like one shooting after another with a musician or death of a musician or rapper or what have you. And a lot of these celebrities seem like they are passing away, left and right lately. And those of you that see it, that may be a family member or a close friend of Lil Mario, want to offer my condolences and prayers to those people, and may he be in a better place right now. Well, of course, I mean, I wasn't able to get the time of birth on Lil Mario. I couldn't find anything with this chart online, but I was able to get his birthday, May 1st, 1993, born, according to one source, Atlanta, Georgia. And I had to improvise and do a solar sunrise chart, which of course puts the sun at the same position as the ascendant. Puts the sun in Taurus and the moon in Virgo. So to me, he has a couple planets in Capricorn as well. They're generational, but still that tells me there's a strong emphasis on pragmatism, practicality. Likely had a very good economical ability. The thing is, the sun in Taurus can, I mean, that's the basic character of the person. Tells me that he likely was somebody that was very, as far as his basic inner character and his true self, because likely he had a different ascendant in most cases. Most people do. True self being really very persistent, tenacious, hardworking, industrious, a person that could be have good financial acumen, strong ability to make money. A person has a lot of patience and perseverance. And the moon in Virgo, what that tells me is that energy from the Taurus sun may be blended in to really just his work in general, his employment, his service, and being able to work very hard, which could be the Taurus sun, and with a lot of meticulous attention to detail, which is the Virgo moon. And the thing about this is that when I look at this, as far as natal placements and transits which may be attributed to his death, well, the first thing, I mean, I don't know as far as the details in terms of where he was, in terms of what part of his body was he shot. He has Mars in Leo natally, and it falls in the fourth house of the end of life in the solar sunrise chart. And it could be he might have been shot near the heart area or the upper back. Transit Mars in Aries was in this 12th house in the solar sunrise chart, so that could suggest some kind of it could be a gunshot also to the head or the skull, the face as well. And transit Mars is not far from transit Chiron in Aries, which of course could indicate more suffering. With a Chiron is not just about emotional wounds; it can be about physical wounds as well. And another thing too, I'm looking at transit Pluto was close to his natal Neptune and Uranus. I mean, I'd hate to think it was drug related, the fact that it's hitting Neptune, but another indicator could be when you have transit Pluto hitting natal Neptune in one's chart, this could indicate a death or murder that may be televised or shown through video, because Neptune, of course, is associated with filmography. Capricorn is a sign associated with planning and premeditation. According to one report, I believe it was on TMZ, website, it stated that they believe that it was targeted. Also, transit Pluto is not far from his natal Uranus. Uranus can be associated with television, but also Uranus is associated with things that are very shocking, unpredictable, and unanticipated. So this was a death that obviously a lot of people did not really expect. Uranus energy could be very spontaneous and very sudden, of course, Now, another thing, another thing to look at. I mean, his natal Pluto is in Scorpio and falls in the seventh house in the solar sunrise chart. So, if a murder takes place in this person's life or death, it could be something that was associated with an open, being the seventh house, something with an open adversary or open enemy. You're talking about being in Scorpio, something that might have a little more sinister energy, more diabolical, that is associated with this. And he also has Chiron in Leo in the fourth house of the end of life in the solar sunrise chart. So, like I was talking about Mars, his natal Mars being at 1 degree Leo, he also has Chiron in Leo in the fourth house, and Chiron again can be, it's not just about emotional suffering, could be about physical wounds as well. So this could be another indicator of maybe a shot, bullet that might have hit, been near his heart area or was in his upper back. So those are some indicators as far as how his astrology chart, natal placements, and transits may be related to his death. He has the ruler of that fourth house of the end of life. The ruler of that house is, is in the fifth house. So that's an indicator of an end of life that might be tied in to who he was as far as his personal popularity, the fact that he was connected in the entertainment world. And the ruler of his eighth house, the Sagittarius, the ruler of that Jupiter, falls in the sixth house of employment in the solar sunrise chart. So again, that's an indicator this could be tied in to his work. It might have been somebody that might have been jealous or had some animosity toward him because of who he was in the entertainment world. Well, more details will come out one way or another at some point, but I just don't have much information on it right now at this time. And he also had what I noticed. Well, what I noticed too, something I just noticed, that transit Uranus is making a conjunction to his natal Sun in Taurus right now. So sometimes when you have transit Uranus hitting your Sun or your ascendant, it could be something that could be very shocking and startling that could happen to the physical body, something of very unusual nature. In some cases, it can be, I could say that it could be literally electricity or danger, greater propensity for electrocution. But this is more of a figurative, shocking, I would say, situation. And keep in mind that Taurus is connected with the throat and the neck area, so it's possible another area where he may have been shot is something that came very unexpectedly. Of course, could be the throat or the neck area. So those are some things to look at as far as his chart and the death and the murder that took place. This is again, this is terrible, and not to be overly redundant, but we are people, whether they're rappers, famous people in general, are dying left and right. I don't know what is going on, what this world is actually coming to. Again, this is very traumatic and very devastating. We're already dealing with so many problems with this pandemic going on, and we have a situation. We hear about people that are getting shot and endlessly and being murdered, being killed. Maybe a lot of cases because of who they are. Uh, anyway, there's really not much more. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in the chart I thought was any significance that could be tied in uh, to his death. Now, another thing that maybe, I would say too, is the fact that transit Mars and Chiron, and I do believe that is a very, something very significant at this time. The fact you have that energy in transit, and you have Mars pretty close proximity to Chiron, it's not surprising or shocking or bewildering that we're having. There's more violence right now that is there's more actions that are connected with very aggressive violence and at this time and volatility. And you're talking about Chiron being very close to it. Chiron again is about not just about emotional wounds and suffering. It can be about physical ones as well. So anyway, only other thing I'd say is that he also has in the solar sunrise chart, he does have the MC at a critical degree, 26 degrees Capricorn it falls in. And you're talking about critical degrees in astrology can be more pronounced, there could be more emphasis on it. You're talking about Capricorn, the sign associated with some kind of limitation or loss or despondency or sadness, and it falls on the 10th house cusp. He also has, of course, that makes the 4th house cusp at 26 degrees Cancer, and that is the end or the latter part of life, and that is at a critical degree as well. So anyway, people, that'll pretty much at this time. That'll pretty much do it. The only thing I wanted to add is that based on the solar sunrise chart, that he has Mercury in Aries in the 12th house. Mercury, remember, is not just about communications and thinking. It can also be about, short journeys and local transportation. This is a thing where I believe it was a drive-by shooting. You're talking about Mercury, I would say, could be associated with vehicles such as cars and coming by, and of course being Mercury in Aries, more truculent, volatile sign. So you could basically do the math on that in the 12th house. 12th house is a house of endings. So anyway, people, it's really pretty much what I wanted to get at as far as this segment goes. And again, I want to say that my heart does go out to the family and to the friends, close friends of rapper Lil Mario. You're talking about somebody that was only 27 years old when he passed away. That's a very young age. You're talking about really around the prime in one's life. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.